Well, hey, thank you everybody for showing up. We want to tell you exactly where we're at today and a couple of things that we're working on. So we kind of got a quick presentation to go through, and with this is Derek Bailey. Derek's the owner. He's actually the only Black African American that is a electric vehicle car owner, actually a manufacturer. So we're glad to have him on, and also we're glad to be partners with him. So we're working on, obviously we're focused on the electric vehicle. You know, what's it take to be able to build an empire? It takes a lot, a lot, you know, from our standpoint. It takes a lot of time. When we started this journey, we also said it was going to be a 3 to 5 year thing to be able to try and get it right. Our goal is to be able to take the stock price up and drive it up. And we think we're positioned to be able to do that right now. So we're publicly traded. Everything that we're talking about today has been released into the public through different press releases or things like that. So there's nothing that we'll talk about that hasn't been out in the market. We have innovative technology where we have patent rights, we have partnerships, and obviously investment opportunities. So our goal is to be able to use our components and make them and be a component supplier. So we have an alternator range extender that is not on a car yet. It's still in kind of in process. We have a working model that call it garage ready model. Then we have another one that's a shock absorber one that's been on the car and off the car. Before, we're still working on that. It's really close. The goal is to be able to enhance the range, better performance, cutting edge. We have some unique technology. Where we're at right now is like a bologna sandwich. You know, we're grossly underfunded, grossly understaffed, too many people with their hand out instead of their hand in, and no one knows our story. And that's being able to tell the marketing picture is really what the key is, to tell everybody outside. So right now it's like the liquor store analogy and a lottery. So we just got to figure out a better strategy to be able to make sure that we get our message out and partner with the right people. So when Tesla started in 2003, they raised hundreds of millions of dollars before they delivered their first car, which was 7 years later, which later were all recalled. Amazon was in business for nearly 20 years and still didn't make money. And this was written in 2013. And obviously, we all know now where Amazon is and what they did. Lucid Motors goes public. They collect 4.5 billion. So we have a IPO play that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So these are some of the numbers that these people have raised in this past year that are electric vehicles or electric vehicle component suppliers in one form or another. 139 million, 130 million, 100 million. And so it's a lot of money, and we haven't hardly raised anything. So basically, companies raise money in seed rounds, right? They have in rounds. They have a seed round, they have an A round, a B round, a C round, a D round, an E round. So we haven't even really raised anything from the C round. So Chris Dawson was someone that I met through a connection, and he's president of Acromoto now. He was one of the top engineers at Tesla from 2015 to 2019. And he told me that he's been doing this for years and he can't believe that he didn't think of it, which kind of helps a little bit. And then we met, EXHIPower.com is a website we're using. We need marketing, we need staff, grant writers, relationships, oil for the engine, which is cash. But we're trying to find creative ways to be able to make it happen. In the 2 years or so, we've come a long way from where we were at, starting with really nothing, with not having a lot of cash to be able to get it. We're in a big money game. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it could cost anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 a month or more to get the story out there, because that's really what we need, is not just the marketing side. We have to have the right presentation and the right relationships and right, call it joint ventures. And I think we have that today with Derek. So this is Derek Automotive. One gave us a purchase order, but now we're teaming up. This is a purchase order that he gave us, like a blanket one, to be able to team up. So they looked at our product, they like it, and we're talking about the shock absorber one right now to be able to integrate into their technology, which Derek's going to tell you about in a minute. And there's a picture of Derek. So what we've done is we've done a strategic partnership with Gold Entertainment and Exeter Fleet. So, and they deal with Martin Industries, which is a huge conglomerate that actually makes their generator units, but Derek can tell you about his own technology a lot better than I can. So this is kind of our new, call it on June 9th. We turned around and we made actually it was a little bit before that, but we announced on June 9th. So we have a partnership with them now. So we did a share exchange with them. So basically they own a little of us, we own a little bit of them, and we own a little bit of Gold, and Gold owns a little bit of them as well. You know, our focus is on the EV range extenders, the alternator shock absorbers, others, component manufacturers. We have a possibility of other technology coming down the pipe with some different batteries, things that we're working on as well. So we're trying to put a total package together. So we are on. So I am going to let Derek take over. You ready, Derek?
Yeah, hi guys. I'm really just here to, to give you guys just a little background on the way we see EXHI and why we decided to partner with you guys, and to give you just an idea of where I think we can take this. So I'm Derek Bailey. Like Mark said, we're Derek Automotive. So we're the nation's first African-American owned electric vehicle manufacturer. But doesn't matter what race the owner is, we're in the EV business. We make not just cars, we are making electric bikes, well, we make a range of electric products. The most recent thing that we're bringing to market in July is an electric pickup truck. And so what we're doing there, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to partner with Mark for the shock absorbers. We really see the shock absorbers being useful in pickup trucks, in our pickup trucks. And we also think it's going to be useful in our motorbikes, in our dirt bikes. Dirt bikes, I think these shock absorbers are probably going to be the best in the dirt bike market, simply because you're doing a lot of hopping around, a lot of jumping hills and things like that. And so these shocks are really going to get a lot of activity, and we think they'll be able to put out a good amount of electricity. So not unlike what you guys have at EXHI, my company doesn't have any big venture backers either. The difference is we're very good at making money. I've been in the temporary staffing business for about 45 years. And so it's primarily funded everything that I've done. And so when I introduce a product, I typically, unlike a Lucid, I don't just introduce a product and then try to go head to head with the giants, like Tesla and GM and these kind of guys. I think it's not a prediction, and certainly not to wish anybody bad luck, but I don't think 3 years from now, Lucid will be here. 37 billion. I think now they're raising more money. They're going to have 72 billion. And I don't think they're going to survive. Simply because we're running out of rich people to sell electric cars to. So people who are operating at the high end of the market, it's just getting clustered and clustered and clustered. And then it's going to be very expensive for anyone to break through. So our approach to the market has been to actually create business units that need our products. So instead of going head to head with the market and trying to convince somebody to buy my pickup truck instead of a Ford Lightning, we're actually launching a new business. It's one of the things that we're going to be doing with EXHI to use our truck in a all-electric errand, delivery, and concierge business. So the business really takes advantage of both of my backgrounds. So like I said, I've been in the temporary staffing business for more than 45 years. And about 10 or 11 years of that, we ran a concierge service as a part of that. And the concierge service is very, very, very lucrative business if you know how to run it. Because what we did was we partnered with developers, we partnered with hospitals, we partnered with institutions. And then so we would just take over all the service needs for the people who either lived or worked at these locations. So if you move that forward to what we're doing now, I make electric vehicles now. When I ran that service, I ran it with Chrysler 300s. And a lot of days we treated those Chrysler 300s as if they were pickup trucks because, we were picking up dirt and ice and beer and kegs of beer. And just, when somebody asks the concierge to do something, the answer is always yes. And so we would just make it happen with the equipment that we had. So at that time, of course, I wasn't in the car business, but I always wished that I had a pickup truck. And when I really needed a pickup truck, like everyone else, I would go to U-Haul and I would rent one. Right. And of course, that was a gas truck. Since that time, the world is really changing. The government really is going to force everyone, whether we want to or not. I mean, I'm in the electric car business. I'm not the biggest believer in pure electric cars, which is why my core technology is an engine generator that converts fuel to electricity. And all it does is convert fuel to electricity to recharge a battery bank. So our burden has always been, well, people would say, well, you're still using fuel, which is actually a smart thing. But the perception is that it's a bad thing. So I think you could understand why our effort to do everything that we can do to make sure that my generator never has to turn on is a good thing for us functionally and from a marketing standpoint. So the shock absorbers, the wheel motors, all of these other technologies that can help generate electricity to recharge a battery bank makes it look like we're really putting forth the effort to never have to use gas. But we all know that consumers are going to be very comfortable with technology that they already know, that they already understand, and they already know where to get it. We all know where a gas station is. And so what my technology effectively does, it takes a consumer from needing, let's say, 15 gallons of gas a week to needing 1 or 2. So cost reduction is always interesting to consumers. So basically, that's what my technology does. Like Mark said, we're partnered with a company actually called Martin Technologies that you can look up at haroldmartin.com. Martin is probably one of the preeminent African-American owned engineering companies in the entire world. They're already partnered with Ford and GM and Toyota and Stellantis and almost everyone that you can name. They're a highly, highly specialized company. They even built the company that the president rides in. This is the company that builds the Beast, the president's limousine. So this is a highly decorated engineering group, and they are Derek Automotive's engineering partner. And so these will be the people that will also help us integrate these shocks and wheel motors into a system that works. Raising capital is always an issue. So I tend not to wait until technology is developed to start making money. So, Donald Rumsfeld said something a long time ago that he got criticized for, but was totally true. You go to war with what you have. And so right now, we have as effective and as technologically advanced electric drivetrain as anybody else on the market. If you guys came to our showroom, you could compare my cars and my truck to anything in the market. And I think you would have little choice but to say that our products are as superior as anyone. So right now we have what everybody else has, which is a state-of-the-art electric drivetrain that we're using. And then in the next generation of our product, we're going to be incorporating the shock absorbers, the wheel motors, and our generator to create a generation of electric vehicles that are liberated from the electric grid, which is really what we need. And so Derek Automotive is also focusing a lot in Latin America and in Africa and in places where there is no electric grid. So there's a global mandate to go electric, but in fully 2/3 of the world, there is not a 24-hour high functioning electric grid. So we see these markets as markets that we can really develop and have to ourselves exclusively. But back to the point of what we're doing now. So right now, we're doing 2 things with this electric pickup truck. We're giving a couple of trucks to Martin to start to integrate you guys' wheel motors and shock absorbers. And then we're going to take another bank of these trucks and we're going to launch this all electric errand delivery and courier service. The courier market, delivery market, it's already a 340-something billion dollar industry. So we're not doing anything new. All we're simply doing is going to consumers and businesses and saying that if you're delivering food or delivering furniture or delivering tires or delivering anything or running an errand for someone, or if you're a college campus and you have maintenance men in golf carts or trucks going around picking up garbage or delivering tools, more than 99% of all these activities are still happening on a gas powertrain. And so what we're going to do is allow all of these buyers to move those functions to an electric drivetrain. Very simple. So not creating anything new. We're not asking anyone to do anything new or to spend any more money. In fact, we're going to save them money. And then we're going to help institutions meet their government mandates. For consumers, consumers can be this way or that way about electric vehicles, but businesses really don't have a choice. Both the rules, regulations, and tax credits are in place to kind of force businesses toward an electric drivetrain. It's just going to happen. And we have the first low-speed electric truck, which is what I decided to do, was instead of going head-to-head with GM and Ford and these kind of guys with a full-speed truck, we have the only low-speed electric truck in America right now, right? The truck goes about 50 miles an hour, very efficient battery use. These trucks will run all day. As we start to include the shock absorbers, the wheel motors, and of course our backup generator, we'll have a low-speed truck that literally won't have to stop all day. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to convince you guys, explain to you how the concierge business works. But I do have a short explanation of how the business works. Like when we do presentations here, I usually ask someone to pull out an Uber app and see how far or how much they would charge to leave my showroom to go to the closest Walmart. I think the number came in at something like $10.20. Okay, that's Uber's business model. They use an app, we use an app. Their app requisitions transportation, our app requisitions transportation. To go from that Walmart, from our office to that Walmart, they would be carrying a passenger and they would earn $10.20 for doing that. We don't carry passengers. We only carry things. You would send our service to that Walmart to pick up a flat screen TV for you, maybe 85-inch that won't fit in your car, that someone would have to deliver for you. You have to get your friend's truck. And 99% right now, you would go get that 85-inch TV on a gas powertrain, because literally, unless you own a Ford Lightning, there is not another way for you to, or a Rivian truck that cost $130,000. There is no way for you to get an 85-inch TV from the Walmart back to my office without using gas right now. So when you put it in that context, you can see how our business is going to slide right into this market. And to go pick up that TV, I wouldn't charge you $10.25. I would charge you around $120. And there is the service. So providing these types of errand services of moving larger goods, picking up kegs of beer, whatever that service might be, you're talking an average ticket price of around $50, and it can go up well above 100 and sometimes into the $200 range. And so if you have a truck that is performing 5 or 10 of these functions a day, you can easily see how a truck can make $500 to $1,000 a day. $1,000 a day is $300 and some thousand dollars a year. This is a truck that we sell for $25,000. So these trucks will be able to be put into business and they'll pay for themselves very quickly. And the people who are actually running these trucks and in this business stand to make a lot of money. So how does that affect like you guys with EXHI? What we're doing with Mark and David and that team is working with them for them to become not only a supplier to us for components, but also one of our largest, what you would call a franchise. We're not using franchises because franchisees have lots of legal rights. So we're building a system of LLCs, but it functions the same way. So what we're going to do is build a system where we launch these errand and delivery businesses. We'll put in an average, let's just say 5 trucks, which would cost like $100,000. We'll operate these businesses for 4 or 5 months. And then we're going to sell these businesses to EB-2 visa applicants. So we're working with a team of immigration attorneys, some specializing in Latin America, some specializing in Eastern Europe, some specializing in Africa. But there are a blanket of countries that have treaties with us that allow their citizens to come to America to launch businesses and to get both living status and work status and student status for these people's children. So the list of people from around the world trying to get into America is long. And we're not talking about the people you see at the border. We're talking wealthy people who want to come to America and want their children to come to America. So that's what we're doing now. I mean, we have some presentations and things like that that Mark can share, or if you want to, I'm happy to go over it with you. But in a nutshell, you know, I just wanted to introduce myself because, you know, we're going to be a key player in your company going forward. And the businesses that we're launching is going to be a key part of how your company is going to grow. So we're going to both be a buyer and a supplier of services to EXHI. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but I'm certainly happy to answer questions if anybody have any. Or if I missed anything, Mark, you can point it out. I'll be happy to cover it.
Hey, Derek, could you just shoot over the presentation real quick? Because I think there's a couple points that aren't real clear. Do you mind?
Are you talking about what I sent you this morning, just to explain the business?
Yeah, just so they understand, because part of it is the EB-2 side, because Ruben's not on right now to be able to
Well,
see.
I can explain that.
Yeah.
I can explain that. So back to the original point, like Mark said, your guys' company is underfunded. And I keep my company from being underfunded by being creative, right? But no business can survive without capital and without the ability to raise capital. So we have options. We can go to the capital markets. We could call you guys up every day and ask you to put in more money. Or we can devise ways to launch a business that actually makes a lot of money. Okay, so we know that a lot of people want to come into America. The reason we chose a E2 visa, this is a visa that has an investment requirement of around $150,000 and above. Whereas there's another visa program you may have heard of called EB-5 that requires $1 million to $3 million. So at $150,000 to $250,000, there are a lot of people who have enough money to invest in such a business and to be able to come to America, right? We have about 48 people in our pipeline right now who are going to file applications based on this business. So the EB-2 visa for us, it does 2 things. Number one, it's fundraising. And number 2, it's giving me a worker pool that I hate to say better than an American workforce, but it's kind of better than an American workforce. I've been doing this for a long time, and my staffing agency has always used lots of foreign or ethnic labor, just simply because the family structure and social habits are a little bit different, you know, than American workers in some cases. I mean, certainly not in all cases, but in some cases. So the EB-2 visa program is a specific program that has the right dollar amount that we can attach to our business. And also it'll bring us the right types of partners to operate those businesses. So what we just did with Mark is we just set up 25 companies. And in each one of these companies, we're going to put in 5 to 10 trucks. We're going to operate these trucks and get the numbers. And then each one of these businesses, like any business, is going to sell at 5 to 25 times its multiple. And so we have a business that's a real business, very profitable business. You can trust me on this. I've been doing this for a very long time. It raises funds. It builds a service business that's already established, the delivery business, right? So we're just going to be converting that delivery and errand service over to an electric drivetrain. And it's also helping me get a little bit better labor pool. So hopefully I answered that question, but when you put it all together, we're literally the only company in the market. If you look at our business model, we'll be the only company in the market that controls everything. Of course, Uber has an app, and that app is worth something like 170 billion, but they don't make cars. We have an app, but we also make the car that we use. And in this model, we also own the business that's using the app and the cars. So this is kind of like taking a few business models, putting them together, and we created something new. And we think it's very timely because right now, every corporation in America has a mandate to migrate its carbon footprint from gas to electric. So we have the equipment, we have the mobile app, we're going to develop the labor pool, and you have 40 years of experience. And so that's one of the main things that you guys will probably be hearing about from Mark and David, over the next couple of months. So we put in an order for trucks on Friday. These trucks will start to arrive here and be assembled by mid-July, and we expect to launch this business around August, early September. The business is called EXHI Lux because my commercial division is called EXHI. So EXHI makes the truck, and EXHI Lux is going to be the mobile app and the concierge service that operates the truck. Now, at the same time, we will be selling trucks to universities and securities firms and other people. So we're in the business of selling trucks as well, but we're also going to be selling our trucks into our own business, which has a multiple. When I sell a truck to a university, I make money one time, and maybe I'll get a little maintenance out of it. When I take this truck and I put it into the service business, I make profit when I sell the truck, and then I make money on that truck for its useful life. And I make more money than Toyota or GM makes from their service department. The standard auto industry model is to sell you a car, build in obsolescence so we know when it's going to break. You'll notice that at 36,000, if they give you a 36,000 mile warranty, the car starts to break down in the 37th month because that's planned. It's called built-in obsolescence. So we know when our product's going to break down. So I actually have an 8-year warranty on my truck because I built it not to break down because I'm going to use it in my own service. Now, if I wasn't going to use it in my own service, I'd probably have a 36-month warranty as well. And I would have things start to deteriorate at 36 months. But so we have an 8-year warranty on the truck. We want this thing to run forever because my app collects 15% of all the revenue from that truck. Sorry about that. Am I still here?
No, you're here.
Oh, okay.
I just got a question. One is, when do you think the technology will be on your truck or other ones? And then if you could also explain a little bit about the retrofit and how big that market is as far as us being a component supplier to you.
Okay, yeah. So we're doing a few things, and everything that we do really is designed to be market forward, but not in direct competition with anyone. Right? We haven't developed any enemies yet. So while I'm making a new electric car, I'm not trying to push it into the market and compete against Tesla or GM or anyone. While I'm making a truck, my truck is not designed to compete with the Ford Lightning. I'm developing products to service my business cases. So that's one thing. Now, another one of my business cases and what's going to be a bigger business, the business that's going to be bigger than making new cars, and it's totally at the opposite end, is we're already converting existing gas cars to electric drive. All right. We've been working with the Department of Transportation for various subsidies. We have legislation that's on the suspension calendar right now. The suspension calendar is a part of the budget that doesn't have money attached to it. It's just other type of technical things. It's called a suspension calendar. So we have legislation on the suspension calendar right now that probably would have passed if we didn't have all this things going on. Whereas we also have contracts with Allstate, like Geico, State Farm, all these large insurance companies to take all their flooded vehicles and convert them to an electric drivetrain. And when we take those flooded cars and convert them to an electric drivetrain, the legislation will give us a new title and a new VIN number. So it'll get rid of the salvage title, and effectively we'll be making new cars from old cars. It's greener because we're not making new steel and all these types of things. We're going to take the engine out of that car and sell it or grind it up for parts anyway. So all we need is the body. And so we're going to be taking these old cars and making them electric. And of course, we're going to be putting our technology and your technology in these cars as well. So you guys may know that Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. just did a TV show that's about to come out where he's converting gas cars to electric. You know, my friends thinks he's copying me because, you know, we've been doing this for 2 years already. but this whole industry, well, converting gas cars to electric is about to transition from a hobby to an industry. So you've seen guys on YouTube doing this, and they'll do 1 car a year and they'll sell it for $1 million, and it's been a cute business. We're going to transition this business from a hobby to an industry, and we're going to be able to do it at scale because we have different categories of cars. Of course, everyone can do the high-end luxury cars. Those are easy. We have a guy just gave us 6 DeLoreans. That's very easy. But there are 3.5 million flood cars sitting in fields like all over the country. A lot of them in Texas. We can get these cars for, you know, less than $1,000. We've gotten some for $250, some for $700, but they're very cheap to get your hands on because they're usually stripped down. And then we take these cars, we convert them to electric, and then the goal is to sell them for less than $35,000 because that's a government goal. So that's that industry. So that's going to be a huge industry. There are 500 million cars eligible for conversion all over the world. So if we decide to put shocks and wheel motors so that we have the best retro car in the market, then I think you can see that we can produce, we'll have need for lots of parts. And you also understand why we have a partner like Martin, who's both an engineering company and a manufacturer. So they engineer it, they make it. And of course, for us, since Martin already has relationships with, you know, Ford and GM and Toyota, he'll be walking all of our technology also into those doors for us as well. So I'm not the type who believes that if I develop a technology, I keep it to myself. We're going to license to all. The goal really is to cut carbon. I mean, we should all be interested in doing that. I certainly am. But what we have to fix in the electric car market is the inconvenience of having to stop and recharge cars. That's what nobody likes. So our technologies bundled together in some type of coherent plan, we can really be the company that makes electric cars convenient. If you look at my email, if you've seen it, I used to use a tagline that Tesla made EVs cool and Derek Automotive was going to make EVs convenient. So everything we do is designed to make electric vehicles convenient. Because actually, I don't know if you've driven an electric car, they're great cars to drive. If you didn't have to stop to charge the thing, it'd be just about perfect. And so we want to make it so that you don't have to stop and charge the thing. And also at the same time, cut your fuel usage by more than 2/3. That's progress. And, you know, people in Capitol Hill like all or nothing, but we're starting to get some headway, you know, to people understanding that there's going to be a gradual inverse. We're going to use less fuel over time as we become electric over time. So a little rationale is starting to even hit the halls of Congress and the Senate. So that's what we're doing there. So that's the retrofit market, and that's how we would use your guys' product for that.
Just one more thing. Hey, Derek, you didn't talk about the price of the truck.
Okay, so the great thing about being a manufacturer is electric cars are basically like a toaster with a computer chip in it. I mean, these things are cheap to build. I guarantee you, I've never seen Tesla's price chart, but I can guarantee you they build that car for about $16,000 to $17,000 and sell it for over $100,000. But our truck, we build for less than $10,000, and we're going to be selling it for just under $25,000. So it's $24,750 is what we sell the truck for. Tremendous amount of profit on the front end. And then we're going to take that truck, we're going to put it into a delivery business. We built it to run forever. And we fully expect that each one of these trucks, I just know because I've been in this business, each one of these trucks is going to be easily good for $150,000 to $200,000 a year in revenue. It's really not hard to do. If you do some math, if you do 4 or 5 trips a day and you make 50 or 60 bucks, it's very easy to make $100,000. So we would be taking 15% of that revenue in through our app. And then we're also going to own the businesses. We're going to set up all these businesses and operate them and then take in partners. So we'll recapture all of our upfront costs plus a profit. We'll have a stable team of people operating the business. And then EXHI and Derrick Automotive will own 20-25% of all of these companies. And basically, when you think about an electric truck, they need to operate in like a 50-mile zone. They're going to operate in about a 50-mile zone. The trucks do about 140 miles on per charge before we get our technology into it. So right now we'll be operating them in about a 50-mile range. And so we're going to need a lot of trucks. They're like 3,800, 4,000 municipalities in the United States. So you could easily imagine each one of those municipalities could easily have 10, 50 trucks. You do the math to run this business just in the United States. You're talking hundreds of thousands of trucks operating, and we would get that revenue up front from the sale of the truck. You guys would get revenue from your technology going into those trucks. And then as a company together, we're going to operate those trucks, sell some, keep some, but you know, it's what we're doing with these trucks is probably most analogous to flipping houses in real estate. You know, in real estate, they say find, finance, and flip. This is the same thing. We're building, operating for 4 or 5 months and selling. And of course, just like real estate, you're going to sell some houses, you're going to keep some houses. You know what I mean? And in this case, we don't have to sell the entire business. We can let people into the business and give them, as an immigrant visa, they have to own the majority of the business, but it doesn't have to be 100%. It could be 60%, 70%. And so if I have a business that I've shown $500,000 in revenue for, okay, I can probably get 5 to 10 times that revenue when I sell that business. That business would have been set up for about 100,000 because the trucks cost 25,000. So if you put in 4 trucks, it's 100,000. And that's a business we could turn around and sell to an immigrant for, you know, $1 million, $2 million, and keep 20% of the business. So there's money all over the place. So I just wanted to, you know, chime in with Mike just to let you guys know who we are, how we approach the market, what you'll probably be expecting to hear, you know, as you go forward. And I talked to Mark yesterday, and I told him what I try to do on my end is put everybody to work. Most shareholders, people think that shareholders just want to sit still and sit around and get reports. There's a lot of shareholders, at least in my group, and I'm assuming in your group, who are probably eager to know more about the business. And the easiest way to know more is to get involved. And so with the introduction of Derrick Automotive into the EXHI ecosystem, there's a lot of opportunities to get involved. Especially with this concierge business, we need people to actually go out and make partnerships with buildings and companies. There's a revenue line for that. Anybody inside our system, we have a system that allows you to refer buyers for our trucks. You can make revenue from that. Certainly, you could partner with us on businesses that we're going to sell or keep, and there's revenue on that. There's just revenue on top of revenue on top of revenue. So, you know, this is a short call, even though I'm talking you to death, but this is designed to be a short call. But certainly, you know, we could do future calls where we actually got into the weeds of how all this operates. We made a series of presentations that you can feel free to share with anybody, Mark. So you guys can, you know, come up to speed on that.
Derrick, I've got something. And so one of the things that comes up with EV manufacturing is you come up with a brand, come up with an idea, and it takes years to get the first vehicle put out. Now you've gone through those years already. Where are we at now with putting out vehicles?
I can make 250 trucks a week right now is my manufacturing capacity, which is more than what we need. And my SUV, I have an SUV in addition to my truck. So everything is in full production. I can make about 200 SUVs a month. But the trucks are a simpler build. They're low speed. So, you know, you got smaller batteries and everything. So yeah, we can make about 250 of these a week because, you know, we make a lot of chassis at once. And so we can assemble these trucks about 250 a week.
I got a question. This is Eric Mikey. What parallels can you make in comparison with Rivian? You're familiar with Rivian, right? They're making electric trucks.
Well, you know,
With all the backing they have with Amazon and all that stuff, they're struggling enormously. Their stock is like 80% down since the IPO. I mean, comparing to this business model, how is that going to be different from Rivian, for example? I'm just drawing comparison here.
Sure. You know, I'm one of those guys that, like, when I say something in the beginning, people think I'm crazy. A couple of years later, they see I was right. I mean, in my company, we have a saying, you don't have to listen to me, but you should. I told people at the very beginning that Rivian started around the time that we started, right? Maybe they had a little bit of head start, but maybe we came a little bit after Rivian. Here's the thing with Rivian, and here's why their stock tanked that you may not know. But if you go to the SEC site and you look at their filings, about 4 or 5 months ago, Rivian had to file with the SEC that their vans that they promised would get 300 miles, 350 miles, they're actually only achieving 87 to 120 miles, right? That stock shot through the roof because Amazon gave them a purchase order for 100,000 trucks.
Correct.
I think if you Google, but if you can't find it on Google, I can send you pictures. The auction houses are hiding all those vans in the back. I could show you, I think I have it in my phone, a video of Mannheim here in Georgia. Rivian trucks, as far as you can see. The trucks are not performing. Because, and that doesn't make Rivian a bad company. I do joke to say that if I had told that lie, I'd be in jail. There is no electric truck. It's not just Rivian. The Tesla truck, with all the money in the world, we're talking Elon Musk and Tesla, you'll notice that their Class 8 truck, they do test runs. It's not on the market either. The battery technology is not in a place right now that you're going to put 8,000 pounds in the back of a Rivian truck or 80,000 pounds in the back of a Tesla semi truck, and it's going to perform the way it's going to perform. That's why we teamed up with Martin. And that's why around Christmas or shortly thereafter, you're going to see me put my system and hopefully a part of your shocks and everything too into an old van and show people that they can actually use an electric drivetrain, but it can't be pure electric. It has to be a hybrid, and it's going to be our hybrid. So when I tell someone that a little piss-ass company like ours is going to field a better product than Rivian, they might choose not to believe it. But it's like I tell people, nobody's ever believed anything I said, but I'm sitting right here. I mean, I have cars, I have trucks, I have everything I need. Our technology is just going to perform better. And here's how you know I believe it. I'm not trying to sell my technology to anybody else. I'm putting it into my business. See what I mean? I'm not trying to sell you my crap. I'm taking my crap, putting it in a business that I'm going to run, and I'm building all of my equipment to run a business that I'm going to run. So all I can tell you is Rivian is a great company that's just a little bit ahead of their time. Maybe they'll survive, maybe they'll be absorbed, but I can tell you, you're never going to put 10,000 pounds or 8,000 pounds or whatever in the back of a Rivian truck and get 300 miles on a cold day or a hot day. Now, on a perfect day on a flat track, you know, when they go to the EPA. So when the EPA gives you that stamp on your window, it's a nice flat track. You're going in a circle. The weather is perfect. They got pretty girls out there. It's all good. But when you're on the back roads of Virginia and it's cold or it's hot, because batteries don't like either. Mine either. The batteries in my car are going to be the same as the batteries in a Rivian. And without your shock absorbers, and my backup generator, my truck would perform the same as theirs. The technology is what it is. All we're doing is putting our little spin on it and branding it. That's it. So we're actually going to have something different. And that's why when we hit the market and the painter and the landscaper and the guys who right now are saying, I would never do an electric truck because I'm busy and I don't have time to stop and charge. When those guys see that they can buy a electric truck that's actually going to last the whole day, that's when the market is going to explode. And EXHI is going to be the company that's in the front of that. And EXHI now too, as one of our suppliers. So you guys heard me say it here today. That's my prediction. This is not something you're waiting. I've already been at this for 4 years. So this is something that you're going to see. It could be a Christmas present, but if it's not a Christmas present, then it's going to be certainly a Valentine's Day present or something like that. But we're going to have all of our technology integrated into something that looks like a van or a delivery vehicle, by second quarter of next year. So anybody can make their stock pop. The question is can you make it sustainable? And my approach has always been, why make it pop if you can't sustain it? If you can't sustain it. And yeah, when you're a brown guy, you don't mess around. They put you in jail quick. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Yeah, but we are I like to do first, talk later. That's just all. So we could be out hyping all of our little test equipments and things like that. Like right now, I'm converting a 1980 Corvette from gas to electric. So, we're going to be doing a range of things just to show people that our technology is superior, which is a whole lot better than, because everyone's been asking me BMW invited me into their innovation center, and Martin has been trying to get me to partner with Ford and all these guys or whatever. But, when the big guys help you, they think it's theirs. We're just like little dudes. If they help you at all, they think it's theirs. So we just decided to go the hard route because this is not easy. Raising money, getting all this done, this stuff is not easy. But, we just go to the hard route. And as we start to put product on the market that functions better, then nobody's going to have to guess, is a Derek Automotive van better than a Rivian van? Just go get one and bring it down and drive it beside mine. And when we get to that point, that's when I want to start having licensing conversations, because the conversation is fundamentally different then. You see what I mean? My own brothers, when I told my brothers I was going to start a car company, my own brothers started laughing. And my whole family works for me, and they still started laughing because what we're doing, it is virtually impossible. But as you understand what we're up against, and then you look at how we do things, how we're not selling to the market, we're selling to our own businesses and things like that or whatever, then you'll start to see how we get products into the market, how we get consumers to know about these products, how we get businesses to invest. Of course, being a minority-owned company helps when it comes to contracting because, colleges and corporations, they have their little set-asides that we can apply for. So, we're just using all the tricks in the toolbox, to try to build something that's new and something that's ours.
Hey, Derek, this is Eric again.
Yeah.
You may have said it several times during your presentation. What is the name of this truck again? I'm sorry, I missed.
Oh, we just call it the EXHI X.
The EXHI X.
X, yeah. It's very hard to find a name for a car. My SUV is called, and it's called the Avani. And I can't even tell you, it took us months and months and months. Every car name is taken. It really is. So,
Sure.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of time to play around with this. EXHI is already a registered trademark. So we just call it EXHI X.
And we can send that information out to anybody that wants it.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
sure.
Herbert's here. He's got a lot of great information for
Yes,
sure.
so we can make a high-speed electric truck. So like right now, I'm starting with the low speed because no one else is making one. And no one else understands how to use it. But I can make you a full-speed electric truck right now. Instead of $25,000, it'll cost you $45,000. But, we can do that right now. But for me to come out with a high-speed truck that's no better than a Ford Lightning, for what? they're gonna buy from me instead of Ford. Doesn't even make sense.
Can you just explain just for a second that low speed truck is comparable as far as title, VIN number, registration, and its actual
Okay, well,
vehicle?
here's the great thing about a low-speed truck. You don't have the same regulation as a regular car. It's regulated like a golf cart, you know, which is allowed on most public streets. Every municipality has some rule, but they all allow it. And at worst case, you may have to go talk to the mayor to get special for ours, because we made ours go faster. The downside of a low-speed truck is they typically don't go fast enough. So the city is saying, keep them here, there, and there. But I designed my truck to go 50 miles, which is, if we had to get on the highway for one exit, it'd be legal, but they're really not allowed on the highway. But you can keep up with traffic. The average speed limit in town is 25, 35, maybe 45. Since the truck is low speed, it pulls on the battery less, right? So it lasts longer. The regenerative braking and everything that we have built in, and even the shocks until we get them like really, really optimized, every little bit that we put back in will allow these trucks to go very far. I'm even gonna put a solar panel on top of the cab just to run the air conditioning and things like that inside the truck. Because the key is just that the truck runs all day without you having to stop. That's the key. You see, and so now we go to IKEA, we go to Home Depot, and we tell them, you know, you guys are, you're a great company, but you're doing a bad thing because you have all these gas cars parked outside. And before, we understood because you didn't have an alternative. But now we're here with an alternative. So you need to let your customers know that they can take that couch home now on an electric drivetrain. You see what I mean? And one of the things that we're going to do before we go after Tesla is we're going to go after U-Haul. It's going to be very easy for us to make a little box truck for moving. That's going to be very efficient for city use. And that's going to be another business that we can just start. We'll start our own moving service. And U-Haul has gas trucks. In my service, we have our electric trucks. So I have a full strategy to sell my products from this side of my company to that side of my company. And immigrants are going to want to own all of these businesses. It's a perfect setup. It's going to work very well, in my opinion.
Okay, let me just pull mine back up real quick. All right, so to close this thing out, you know, the question is, you know, one, we need help. It's how many posts you make, how many friends have you told about the company, you know, how much more of a partner can you be, how many more relationships and door openings can we get? Well, you know, we need partners that we want to grow. We want to grow the business and be able to build it. And the one thing about Derek's side is that part of our piece with him is that we're taking him IPO. So he'll kind of be shot up from where we're at. And EXHI owns a piece of him. And so we have a trifold partnership that, so as his value goes up, our value goes up inside of EXHI, but there's also ways to be able to profit from that in addition to that. So you can partner on the trucks, you can partner on, you know, just being from a customer standpoint, EXHI and Cedar, you can invest in EXHI or Cedar, you can be, you know, in on the white list. If you do any of those, and in addition where we're at right now, you'll be on the white list for the Exceeder IPO. Derek's going to have an open house in Atlanta on June 29th. You're welcome to come down, see it, touch it, feel it, and actually get a better feel for it. And then, you know, at a minimum, hopefully you'll repost the twist, tell your friends, watch the stock go, send everyone you know to exipower.com. You know, we have them, you know, put in the code 1000, they'll receive 1,000 shares of EXHI shares. That's for my personal stock, and it is limited. And hopefully we can, you know, create a roaring revolution and grow this business altogether. So are there any more questions?
But you shouldn't be using my head in pictures without my permission.
Okay, well, hey, thanks everybody for coming. If any questions, just reach out to
Any
us.
last questions for me before we go?
Where's the open house? Do you have a address on that?
We have a showroom in Atlantic Station in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's our first, what we call an experience center. We have all of our products here so people can see them and touch them. And then we do seminars, here as well. So we have this new business that we call EXHI Lux. We're doing seminars here every week for that, which we also record them. So you can also, experience them that way. But the immigrant visa is just one part of the marketing. It's not like we're not selling the businesses to Americans as well. But we are going to be building a nationwide all electric errand and delivery service. And basically it's broken out, not just into cities, but literally the trucks operate in certain sections of the city. And of course, the whole system links together. It's run by an app, just like Uber. It's exactly like Uber. You can see where the truck is, when it's going to get there. You can order your services through the app. The app is already in the App Store. But what we had is we also own a logistics company, EXHI Logistics. So the app has been functioning for over a year already. So we just paused it so we can add these new services to it. But you could go to either the iPhone store or the Google store, and you'll see the EXHI. It's Exceed without a C. So EXEEDER. The app's already there. You can download it, but when you try to log in, it's not going to let you in because we're doing the back end so that we can add the services for this business now. But it already works globally. So we can launch this all electric service anywhere in the world right now. So it's a lot of growth potential for us. So it's an opportunity to sell a ton of trucks. And I think as we integrate our technologies, our combined technologies into these trucks, it's going to just be the most superior truck. And once we get it perfected on the low speed, then we'll actually make the money to also implement it into the high speed. A high speed vehicle is much more difficult to build than a low speed, because a low speed vehicle, what we have is like a jacked up golf cart with a truck body. You know what I mean? So it's certainly bigger. It's certainly more powerful. Operating systems a little bit more complex than a golf cart, but it's not rocket science. And that's another great thing about the way we built it. It's all modular. So I could teach any local mechanic how to repair it. The only thing they shouldn't touch is our control module, which we would just send you another one to just bolt in and hook up. So any mechanic will be able to fix these. So simplicity, we think, is a strength right now. So unlike Tesla that tries to integrate everything so that you can't work on it, we have everything is just a little module. If it breaks, you just take it off, you put on another one, get that truck back out on the road. So we have a different approach because we are going to be using our own tool in our own business. So, we're trying to make as user-friendly as possible.
Hello, everybody. Can I just say it? It's like I'm living in Norway. And here is like everybody have Tesla, but everybody have like huge trucks with like diesel or benzene.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the idea is like wonderful, really.
And so that's the market we're after. And the app works in Norway. So we could get started in Norway right now. And that's the gap. That's why I'm not focusing on, it's not like my truck couldn't do food like Uber does, but who cares about food? Any Tesla can carry food, but a Tesla can't carry an 85-inch TV. You know what I mean? It can't carry some new plastic trash cans from the Home Depot. That's why we're focusing on larger, bigger delivery type items and moving that to an electric drivetrain. There are no low speed, under $25,000 vehicles right now. That's not the little funny looking Chinese trucks that can do that. And if you see a picture of our truck, it looks like an American truck. It looks like well, as a matter of fact, I mean, we stole the chassis from Ram, so it looks like a Ram.
And it's a little bigger than a Ford Ranger?
It's a little bigger. It's almost like, what's the name of that truck that Toyota makes? It's like between a Ranger and a 1500. There's
Tacoma? Tacoma?
It's about that size, 4 doors. So it has front and back seats. It's right around the size of that little Tacoma. But in the presentation, we give you the exact, measurements and whole deal, but so it's like a big Ranger, a little bit taller. It's like that Tacoma. So just imagine that size vehicle. I did a back seat too, because in the concierge business, there's a lot of businesses here that can be done. Like this truck is going to be great for serving like veterinary clinics and animal shelters. And so you want that back seat. People don't know that gas fumes or whatever, that'll tell you affects animals. So being all electric, delivering flowers. And don't forget, it's an electric drivetrain. We're gonna have Martin build us a coffee service and a wine and beer service for the back of the truck. So we could also put the truck into the catering business. You just pull up, we'll charge you $2,500 and you'll have this much beer and that much wine and a food warmer that can just drive right up to the tailgate. So, like I said, we're very creative in creating markets and uses for our truck. So we never have to advertise to a consumer at all. We're making our own buyers by creating these unique business cases. So that's the approach. And that's what I'm trying to, talk Mark and Dave and everybody into joining us in. I believe that EXHI should become one of our biggest owners of these businesses. Almost like Warren Buffett owns 500 Burger Kings. You guys should own 2,000 of these local delivery businesses. It's going to produce a tremendous amount of money.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
And anybody wants more information, just reach out for us. We have all the decks. Happy to give you whatever you want.
Yeah, and I appreciate if you guys would follow us also. Follow Derek Automotive on Instagram. And I'm Derek W. Bailey on Instagram. So, this whole following each other, we have to get in the habit of doing all that as well. Repost what we share. I'm going to, teach Mark and David this business. And so you guys are going to be in the EXHI Deluxe business.
We're
And
looking
as
forward to
that
it.
grows, you're also creating your next profit center where we will actually have a big enough demand for the shock absorbers and things like that. So everybody can start to, win on all of our different little divisions. So, that's the goal. And, we're going to be working hard at it. We hope you guys will get involved. And, thanks for having me on, Mark and David.
No, thank you. Okay, appreciate it, everyone. I think we'll
Enjoy
end.
your Sunday.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.